This is your 5-minute call. This is your 4-minute call. This is your 3-minute call. This is your 2-minute call.
Because there is a Tim Hortons at a very turn movie.
1 minute remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to Landline. I will act as your companion today. The following audio track contains a series of scenes intended to create an interaction with public space. Like any audio guide, this track comes with instructions. So, listen carefully and act promptly. Take a deep breath. Let's enter the city and start walking. Take this street until something pulls you in a different direction. For the purpose of this exercise, drop whatever your usual motives are for walking about this place. Allow yourself to simply drift. Obey your instincts. Follow the most inviting path. This experience today will last 1 hour. At the end, you will arrive back at the beginning. So, take your bearings and try to make the most of the adventure. May I suggest you take notice of the place you are in? Look up. Are there any birds in the sky? Please be mindful of the traffic and obey the laws of the land. By agreeing to take part in Landline, you also agree to only answer text messages or phone calls that are part of the experience. Notice the structures, the buildings. Does the light reflect off them in a certain way? Observe the city as if you were seeing it for the first time. At moments during your adventure, I will ask you to stop and find a location for a scene. There are no wrong or right answers, only choices you make. These well-chosen locations will become the backdrop for a rendezvous. I will give you a direction, but how you play the scene is of your own making. If that all seems like a bit too much freedom to you, you can text the word guidance to home base, and an operator will happily provide you with navigation assistance. How far you explore is entirely up to you. Move into the unknown. Confession. Sometimes at night, I like to turn on the lights and leave the blinds open. My apartment becomes a light box, visible to my neighbors across the way. And as I go about my business, I wonder what they think of my actions. The pajamas I've chosen, the state of my kitchen, how I can get my heels right down to the floor in downward dog. When I look out my window, I see there is no one looking. No one sees me or my yoga moves. My neighbors are so accustomed to our proximity that averting the gaze is second nature for them. Either that or I'm not very interesting. Take notice of any people walking on the street. Are there any listening to iPods? Any texting? Maybe one day I won't care to see what's outside my window anymore. I will look at the other windows stacked across the way as you might look at a tree or a lamppost outside your house. And the people inside will lead their lives as invisible as the beetles boring into the bark. Maybe we should get on at playing rendezvous. For this first scene, you will need to find a location that reminds you of an old friend. The answer may be obvious, and you may see a place right away. On the other hand, you may have to ask yourself, What is it about this place that reminds me of someone I know? You have 1 minute, so act quickly. When you are happy with your spot, simply stand by.
Okay. So there's Bruno's.
30 seconds remaining. If you've already found your location, please stand by. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now stop. Observe the place you've chosen for the first rendezvous. Look behind you. Imagine that person you miss standing there. Wave to them as if they are walking up to you. I understand this will be hard at first. You may think you are alone, or maybe you feel a little anxious because nobody is waving back. Imagine them waving back at you. Or what if I told you there is a person 5,725 kilometers away from you right now, and despite all that distance, the two of you are engaged in the same activity. You are together. You are both waving. You can take my word for it, or you can check right now by texting a message to the number you were given. If you trust me, no need to text. But we can wait a moment to see if your scene partner shares your sense of trust. Right now, they are looking at their phone. Act 1. This act is about here and there. Lights up. Introduce yourself. Text the number you were given at the beginning. Give yourself a name and describe yourself. You have 30 seconds. Fill the time with words. Describe the location you are standing in and what it is about your friend that caused you to pick this location. You You have 1 minute to complete this task. Thirty more seconds. Ten more seconds. Describe the last time you talked. Thirty more seconds. Ten more seconds. Lights down. Consider the parallels between your experience here in Halifax and your scene partner's experience in Vancouver. From time to time, you will be given opportunities like these to reach out to your scene partner. The two of you can text as much or as little as you like. It's up to you to negotiate together. Some people like to talk. Some people like to answer. Some people like to listen. And for some people, it depends. Is there anything you'd like to say to your scene partner right now?
Brown? Hey, Brown.
This is your cue to start moving. You have the courage to explore, if you want. Observe the people moving around this place. Notice them walking. Do you see anyone on bikes? Anyone driving cars? Now, imagine tracing a line behind each person's path. Notice the points where these lines intersect. Imagine those lines are like clotheslines, and each person's stories are spread out across them like laundry. Imagine all the rows and rows of sheets and socks, of pants and shirts hanging, swaying, gently moving in the breeze. Take notice of any unusual places. Pay attention to the little paths, the tunnels under scaffolding, the doorways recessed into the buildings. Try moving through the city without resistance. Instead of choosing, Can you allow the journey to choose you? Isn't that someone's analogy for life? It's a form of abdication, relinquishing control. You are vulnerable when you allow the way to become clear, rather than hacking your way through the weeds. There is the danger that all those potential paths and journeys that you allow to choose you don't. That the way chooses other yous than you. And then where are you left with your go with the flow attitude? Nowhere. Follow the route of another for a moment. Is there someone you can walk behind? Not too close. Not close enough to cause them discomfort. Accompany them for 1 block. Or text guidance to the home base contact you were given. Or challenge yourself and take a path less traveled. Allow yourself to be carried away. You may want to think of this moment as blocking.
Hi, it's me again. I was just walking up the sand.
Now,
and
listen carefully.
I noticed all these footprints. There's, I saw my own. And then there's just this tiny little set of footprints that looks like it was running. The larger set that's walking up. There's a happy face drawn in the sand. It looks like some dog was here and caught a ball. And people are walking in any number of directions. There's some more dog prints.
The sound you are hearing in your headset is the sound of our parallel location in Vancouver.
Yeah, I just...
What do you hear?
Oh, these people have walked here and they're not here anymore. But I can see their footprints. That's all I wanted to say. Hi, it's me again. I was just walking up the sand.
Can you pick out what is the same?
And
what is different?
I noticed all these footprints. There's
390,328 people live in Halifax.
Tiny little set of footprints.
We call ourselves Haligonians. In Metro Vancouver alone, there are 2,476,145 Vancouverites.
It looks like some dog was here and caught a ball. And
together, Haligonians and Vancouverites make almost 8% of Canada.
More dog prints.
That is nearly 0.04% of all the people on Earth. Together, we're like a needle in the haystack.
Yeah, I just...
Think about this place you are in and what you know about Vancouver.
Here and they're not here anymore.
Have you ever been to that city? Would you like to? Confession. In kindergarten, I got into a fight with some boys over Hot Wheels cars or something. To punish us, the teacher made us all sit at a table together without talking for 5 minutes. Time has never passed more slowly than those 5 minutes. Maybe she wanted us to use the time to think about what we'd done. I remember staring sullenly at the table, at the boy across from me, him mouthing the words, "You're dead, you're dead," when the teacher wasn't looking. When the time was up, neither of us moved. I wasn't fool enough to turn my back on him, and he knew it. 5 silent minutes stretched from punishment to story time. My friend taught me a trick. It's a trick she invented with her mother. Every time my friend sees a full moon, she thinks of her mother, and her mother thinks of her. Now I use that trick too. Every time I see a full moon, I think of my friend and her mother, thinking of each other. But I don't expect them to think of me. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a mule? Is it okay if I hold your hand? We can stand here as long as you like. When you're ready to go, just let go of my hand and walk away. It is time to find a meeting place for our second rendezvous. Keep moving. Can you think of a time when you experienced massive change? Infancy and childhood, if you can remember those times, are defined by it. Perhaps adulthood can be defined as the moment when one starts to work to counter the destabilizing effects of change, rather than just going with the flow. I've always lived in this city because my family has always lived in this city. We see no reason to leave, and frankly, I wonder if moving would be too much for me. Would you think of me differently if I told you this was the third city I've lived in? Or that I just moved here? Or that I'm just visiting and I don't know this place at all? For this scene, you will need to find a location that reminds you of a moment in your life when you went through massive change. Or think of a time when you experienced massive change and find a place in the environment that speaks to that time. You have 1 minute.
I went for a walk after to see some fresh air.
"30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, not so much.
Bye-bye.
10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Now stop. Observe the place you've chosen for the second rendezvous. Take a look around. Think about all the other people through the years that stood on this very spot. Remember that moment of change that brought you here. Find a vertical object, a tree or a relatively clean lamppost. Stand so that your shoulder barely touches it. Now, ever so slowly, pour your weight into that point of contact, as you might pour sand into a bag. The connection becomes more solid and dense the more you pour in. Confession. I can't decide. Is it better to show you the world as it is, or the world as I wish it to be? Of course, the answer is a little of both. But considering the binary is so comforting, to think that we only have two choices, what a relief. Sometimes we just stand together. Those are the moments that surprise me, when the need is satisfied by proximity, because there is always a need. Take out your phone and text "standing by" to your scene partner. This is the beginning of Act 2. This act is about the way things change. Lights up. Describe the location you are standing in and your motivation for choosing this place. You have 1 minute to complete this task. Thirty seconds remaining. Seconds. 3, 2, 1. Describe a time when you were lost, like really lost, unable to find your way, lost. Literally or figuratively, it's up to you. Thirty seconds remaining. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Text your partner the thing you didn't say, or wanted to say, or if you didn't want to say anything, remain silent. Lights out. You may want to think of this moment as a scene change. Look around. You may want to think of the other people you see on the streets as the technicians moving scenery and props around backstage, as other actors getting ready for their next cue. You may think all the world's a stage and we are merely players. Confession. I hate Shakespeare. In your time, start moving about the city. Or you can be still. Or you can text guidance to home base for a suggestion. The mobile phone you are holding is essentially a radio. It is always sending and receiving signals. Even when you're not using it, not making a call or texting, your phone is communicating to the towers hidden in the architecture above your head. Look to see if you can spot them. Look to the top of the buildings. Over there. No. Over there. Your phone says, "I'm here. Now I'm here. You can find me here. I'm here. Here." Find a place to sit if you want, or if you are happy, keep walking. Take a moment now to ask your scene partner a question. You can go for small talk. Do you have any brothers and sisters? Where were you born? What do you think of the show so far? Or you can go for large talk. What is your relationship to the divine? At what point in your life did you become aware of your capacity for cruelty? Text your question to your scene partner now and answer accordingly. I don't want to interrupt, but it's time to move on. Consider the space you are standing in as you might the lobby of a theater. Consider the architecture. Does it promote mingling? Are there places to duck away for a private conversation? Are the facilities easy to find? The bar? Spend some time observing the people around you. Consider that some have dressed up for opening night. Feel the freedom that anonymity brings. Ah, the lights are flashing. You may think of this as your cue to move on to the next section. We are now nearing the end of the experience. Start making your way back to home base. If you are lost, please consult the map you were given at the beginning. If you are really lost, text "Help me" to home base and the operator will assist you. You have 10 minutes. If you have traveled far, you may need to hustle. If you have not traveled far, feel free to linger. Consider that a thought is like a stone. They both change shape as they are tossed around, one in a river, the other in your mind, both making their way to the ocean. Vancouver will start a game of catch by sending a word to Halifax. Halifax will then send the first thought that occurs to them back in a return toss. Then Vancouver will return that thought, and so on. Begin the game of catch. Now. There are only 8 minutes remaining. As you traverse back to home base, rehearse these words and listen acutely to the echoes that arise inside you. Miss you. Miss you. Miss you. Confession. It's hard for me to go, and while I've agreed to the departure, leaving was by no means a plan. This is where I came to make the decision that eventually led to saying farewell. There came a time when I realized I had to connect my life to someone else's, or die. I stole that notion from a friend. He meant it literally. I mean it figuratively. What I didn't expect was that by making a choice to connect my life to someone else's, a number of things in my life would shift. So one night, when the process of change began and started to make me feel uncomfortable, I came here. If you were to look into the distance, you could imagine me leaving, traveling to the horizon. They say, don't look back, never look back, as if regret is something to be avoided. I say, look back. You might see something you wouldn't mind seeing again there, behind you. Please text "See you soon" to your scene partner. It is now time to prepare for one last rendezvous. For this scene, you must find a location appropriate for new beginnings. Listen to this music. Keep moving back to home base. Listen to the sounds of the city, or listen to the sounds within you. You have 4 minutes remaining. If you get there first, you might have to wait. No one sets out to wait years. No. It starts with 5 minutes, or maybe a week. We'll see how this week goes. Another? It's so hard to tell. Then you get busy, there's so much to do, and the next thing you know, the inertia of waiting drags you through a month, a year, or 2. When you arrive at home base, return the headset to the front of house staff. They will then direct you to the final rendezvous location. You have 1 minute to find your way back to home base. Text "standing by" when you are in place. Some games you win by being the fastest, the strongest. Then there are the games you win by holding on, laying in wait, holding out. I thought I could catch you if I just waited long enough. What's the longest you've ever waited for someone? 30 seconds left. 10 seconds. Act 3. This act is about the way you will be remembered. 3, 2, 1. Return the headset to the front of house staff.
Welcome back.
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me? Are you Carolyn? Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I realized at the end of our conversation that I had forgotten to tell you my name, and so that I quickly was like, oh no, he doesn't even know who I am.
You are a beardy man. Is that what you said? A beardy man? I'd say beardy. Is that right?
Yep.
Does everyone in Halifax have a beard?
There's quite a few. I've noticed there's a very nice assortment of beards here. I appreciate a good beard, so it's nice to see.
Because in Vancouver we have a lot of short beards.
Okay.
But I feel like in Halifax you guys take it to the next level, right? The next level.
There's a lot this way in Halifax.
Yeah, they're full beards. It was nice meeting you, Ben.
Well, it was very nice meeting you too.
And we're done. We're done. Okay, bye.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. Should I still take the time?
Yeah,
to do
absolutely. Yeah, you have a couple minutes.
Where are we?
We're
are
right here.
here?
Yeah, because I'd really love to see where you.
And this is like towards Spring Garden.
That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
So
And there's lower water there. So this is the water.
okay, right.
See, ready to go?